Oh, you cheeky, you slime ball. What did you do that for, you rotten terror, Dave? You fucking put me old voice and verbals and, they've heard me trying to sing the fucking song now. Well, how you doing out there, you lot? Hey, welcome yet again to Nicko's. Not a lot of people know that, or knew that, or still don't. I don't know, whatever it is nowadays. Number 6. You are absolutely, devastatingly spoilt, the lot of you. You're out there in your greasy, sweaty, debauched, horrible, stinking little palms and fingers and all those horrible little bits and pieces that go on your hands are now the proudest of possibly the most amazed Iron Maiden fans to own the 2 minutes to midnight Rainbow's Gold mission from Harry. Oh, we shall talk about that later. And as you heard, when that rotten Dave there will be twiddling the knobs in a control room, decided to whack the microphone on. Aces High, King of Twilight, Number of the Beast. Live! Oh, you gosh, you've got such a packaged hair. How can you still be sane after this? I mean, goodness gracious, listen to me. I've been playing it for 6 years. God. Anyway, no. Oh, gosh, 2 minutes to midnight. Released the 6th of August, 1984. My third single with the band. I guess that must make the band's 11th or 10th single, whenever. Don't king write in and say, Nicko got it wrong, or else I'll give you some of that. And it got to number 11 in the charts in this great British... Oh, by the way, earlier on, I was thinking of trying to think of, we had the bleeding Bodge Up company, which we all know who that is by now, right? Now, there was another company that I sort of mentioned prior to this little speech I'm giving to you now. And I won't actually tell you who it was, but the abbreviation of this, I suppose you'll get it from, but I thought we could call them the Mighty Tight Veg. What do you think? I mean, they ain't got any clue, have they? Nevertheless. Now then, we all know who they are, because they've wimped out. Nevertheless, we've still got a number 11 in the Great British charts, thanks to you guys again, and girls, and all them little guyettes and guy girls and all them people sort of whatever out there. First released single off the Power Slave album, and yet again this album was recorded in the Bahamas. That's her. Now, as we all know, 2 minutes to midnight, great song, good video. The first story format that the band have ever put out on a video, rather than just sort of crazy stuff and the norm, Yeah. Rainbow's Gold was a song written by some friends of the band's, a guy called Terry Slessor. Sorry, Terry, I didn't mean to get it wrong. Terry Slessor and a guy called Kenny Mountain, who in a band called Beckett together, I do believe. I might have got that wrong. So, keen hell, what if I have? You going to do something about it? Come over here. Anyway, now then, on the butt end of this here single was a track called Mission from Harry. See? Now, those of you out there, still to this day, some of you think that this was a choreographed piece of entertainment for all you guys and girls. Well, I can tell you it fucking well was not. It was, in fact, the very only argument I have ever had with Steve Harris. We were on stage in Allentown, Pennsylvania one evening, and this was in the Peace of Mind tour, when this although it was released on the back of a Power Slave single, it was actually recorded on the Peace of Mind tour. And I was doing a drum solo at new boy in the band, do a drum solo, Nick, get on with it. So in this period of time, Steve would go off to the back of the gig and change his, if he had a dodgy bass string, or what happened on this night, he was changing the battery on his remote, or his, his transmitter. So he sent this guy round to tell my drum tech to tell me to extend my drum solo, because he weren't ready. But he didn't tell my drum tech, or his tech didn't tell my drum tech. He told this guy who was sitting at the back of the gig, who was one of the riggers, a guy called Paul, who's no longer with the band. I wonder why. No. Anyway, he said to him, tell Nick to extend his drum solo. So I'm playing. Pea soup, all that shit. And I get a tap on the back, and this guy says, oi. I've gone, what? He's gone, oi. Hey. I've gone, what? He's gone, hey. And he's pointing to Steve. I've gone, hey. He's gone, hey. I go, what? He's gone, hey! I said, fuck off! Jesus Christ, he made me fuck. Oh, anyway, what could I do? I stopped. I've gone absolutely wally. So I've come off the gig anyway. Make the long story even longer. I've come off the gig and I've gone in the dressing room and I said, that fucking geezer at the back of the gig, what the fucking hell's he think he's doing? There he is. He's giving me all these verbal signs and all this stuff, right? I said I couldn't understand him. He was sitting about 3 feet behind me. Instead of coming up and shouting him a luggo, and Harry said, I sent him. I went, you what? He said, I sent him. I said, what the fucking hell do you think you're doing sending him around and giving me messages? He said, well, I had to play a bit more and need a bit more time to change my bass thingy, me bob. And I said, I didn't care about that. This geezer made me fuck. He said, well, look, you better go and apologise to him. And I said, fucking right I am. I'm fucking apologising to him. He made me fuck. He said, so that's the argument. We argued for about 15, 20 minutes, and it all calmed down. Then Bruce came in, and he got a bloody cassette in his back pocket, and he said, oi, Nick, what would happen if he tried to tell you the lighting truss was going to fall on your head? And I said, don't you fucking well start. And Harry says, yeah, he's got a good point, hasn't he? So we started the argument again, and Bruce recorded it. And then at the end of this mission from Harry, you'll remember, Harry says, he grabs the tape off him. Just before he grabs it, he sees his tape in his pocket and he's going, Sam, recording this. And so we got the tape. And that's basically how that all happened. But anyway, after this extravaganza, we thought it was so funny, we had to let you guys hear it. And that's the only serious argument I've ever had with Steve in my life. So that just about gives me enough time in this little, not a lot of people know that number 6, part 6 or whatever, to tell you just a tad about Aces High, which, as you know, has got King of Twilight on it and Number of the Beast Live. This song was released 22nd of, it wasn't. It was released the 22nd of October 1984. Chart position 20 that got to. Now, at the time we were rehearsing the Power Slave album, Steve was writing this song. I started to learn to fly aeroplanes in Jersey, and I'd come home from the aerodrome and I'd have the old, whistling the old ends of the moustache and twiddling the old various bits and pieces and the hat and the goggles and the scarf and, well, tally-ho, big old bandits at 6 o'clock low, coming out of the sun, 12 o'clock high, watch out, full power, bombs away, big old, all that good stuff. And I think it sort of slightly influenced Steve to write this song, about the old Second World War, Spitfire pilots and all those guys. Hey, just between you and me, Steve, he doesn't like to fly. He hates it. He thinks I'm an absolute nutcase. But you don't tell him I told you, will you? Because he'll be very upset. Anyway, Aces High, King of Twilight, great. What a package this one is for you. I wish I had more time to explain some more of the stories on 2 minutes and things like that around that time, but I really do have to go now. We're running out of time. Oh, yes, just a little joke for you before I leave. Have you heard the one about the 2 queers? They were fighting over a manhole. See ya. I'm off. Bye. Well, look here. You phoned me again, haven't you? Me, Sweet Pea and the Bubbly, we could be here, and then again, we might not be, and then again, Sweet Pea and I might be here, and we don't want to talk to you. So there. So, why don't you leave your name, your number, what time you phone, what day of the week it is, when you were born, and all that. I know it's not 2 minutes to midnight, that's for sure. Okay, so look here. Just do all this after you've heard the proverbial tone again, that boring old fart of a tone, and just let me know what's happening.